Welcome back to Nick's Mix and Flicks, the show where we talk music and movie reviews and other stuff too. Today's episode is going to be the start of a new mini series, I guess technically, called Mic Check Artist Conversations, which, if you could gather from the title, is just having conversations with artists, both locally and remotely. I want to talk to artists to see what's popping in the music world that I might not know about, as well as learn more about things that I maybe already do know a little bit about. So if you yourself are an artist and you'd like to chat with me, you'd like to put yourself out there, talk about your music, talk about your process, whatever it may be, reach out to me, okay? If you're on YouTube, make sure to subscribe. If you're on Spotify, make sure you follow the podcast. I try to push out new episodes weekly. Next week's episode is going to be a good one, I promise. Other than that, let's get into it. Yeah, let's get into it. Yeah, when I hear music, got to talk about it. Got me a collection of movies that I can watch a lot of. If that's not your suit, at least try it on for a fit. You gotta tune into this Nick's Mix and Flicks. Today we're joined by Vasile, or VVS, or whatever you want to call him. We're going to be chatting about his music. So it's been a while since
A little bit.
we've seen each
A little
other.
bit. About high school.
About high school, yeah. We had one class together in high school.
You made music before I did, by the way.
I did. Yes, I did make music. I was kind of taken back when I was checking my Instagram DMs and I saw the message from you because I was like, "What?" I was like, "He's reaching out to me." I
This
was
is
like,
what I do.
"Of all people," I mean, and I respect it,
Yeah.
and because it's like as creators, we got to take kind of every opportunity we can get.
You gotta, I threw it,
Yeah,
and I made it. So we're chilling. So
yeah, yeah. So I remember I was trying to kind of remember like where we met each other and like how we kind of met, and I think it was
geoscience.
geoscience. Yeah, we had
Mr. Crumb.
Mr. Crone, bro, Mr.
Mr.
Crone,
Crumb.
crazy.
Oh God,
Um,
that guy, Silver Fox.
yeah, he
He
is
was.
weird. He was a weird guy.
Yeah.
Um, but I remember being in class, and it was about the time that like Ski Mask, the Slump God, and like XXX was
X.
getting big,
Just
and I remember you showing me. I think it was like sipping tea in your hood or something on Spotify or no SoundCloud. And so I was like,
classic.
it was like 7 a.m.,
Classic.
7:15
Yeah, because
a.m.
it was the first class of the day.
bumping Ski
Just
Mask in my
da, 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 da,
yeah,
da,
yeah,
da.
just
And
going.
you were just like,
I'm like, okay, listening to that, doing my PowerPoint on like tectonic plates or
I know, right?
something
Kids
like
got it
that.
so easy now. Just
Yeah, different world.
just
It's crazy.
AI,
Yeah,
tectonic plates. Just real quick, just slide presentation.
yeah,
Mr. Chrome would be blown
dude,
out of
it
his
would be
mind.
like, whoa, I did not know you guys could do that. But yeah, yeah, I don't know if I was making music at that point. I don't.
It was shortly after. It was about a month.
Yeah,
It was about a month after, and you were
yeah.
like, "That's a good idea." You just started going
You say, you
off.
know what? I'm gonna take
I
that
was like,
idea.
"Okay, okay."
Well, no, yeah, because I mean, it just started as something that I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna do for fun.
Yeah,
I think that the first one I did was like for an Instagram skit or something.
yeah.
It's like I'm gonna do a little.
Because you're doing the skits
I
too.
was doing
Like
the skits, yeah,
you were doing it, and then you stopped, and I was like, "Those are kind of funny, man." Like, I was like, "Damn, where's he at?" And then I saw you with the podcast.
yeah,
So then I was like, "All right, I got trust issues, so I'm gonna see like if he does like a couple of these,
yeah.
and then I'll."
No, that's smart. That's smart. Yeah,
Yeah,
because I don't know
people
if
start so many things and just drop
definitely
them.
no, and I'm guilty of that for sure.
Me too. Yeah.
But um, so thinking about kind of how I got started. Was there something that specifically kind of drew you to be like, oh, this is what I want to do too?
Well, that would be so when I was a kid, I played pretty much I played violin, viola, piano. My mom is a music teacher,
Okay.
so music's always just been a thing. It's always been something, and like I remember, I don't know, it's always been a thing.
Okay.
It's just
Cool.
always a constant thing. I didn't know I could really do it myself, but I was just like, why not?
Yeah.
I made that one song in high school, which was garbage. I still, I still have to call Jade or whatever because she's like, oh yeah, like I got that song downloaded. I'm gonna show everybody. I'm like, no, 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 no,
You're
no,
like, don't do that.
because it was a lot harder to make music than it is now.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
I make everything on BandLab,
Really.
everything
Really.
on the recording on my phone,
Yeah.
like the
Right.
mic on my phone.
Yeah.
Like that's what I
Uh huh.
use right now. Um, but also you can look back and it sounds like garbage.
Right.
2 years ago, like it sounds like garbage because you just have to figure it out,
Uh huh.
and I'm always that type.
Right.
So I don't even know if it was a specific starting point. I think it was just like do 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 do, and it was eventually gonna happen. I just didn't know how to advertise it, if we're being
Yeah. Right.
honest,
Right.
because that's what it is now.
Yeah.
Because like I would say like my biggest inspiration that would be like Lil Pump, you know. Sorry.
That's crazy. Lil Pump.
Right? No, I'm not saying he doesn't have a part in like how short the songs can be,
Okay. Yeah.
because him getting because how short the songs are, that actually brings plays.
Definitely.
Because 1 minute and 30 seconds, you're probably gonna want to listen to it like at least one more time.
Yeah. Right. Right. Right.
So I feel like he inspired that,
Right.
but
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's a good point. I think because like you were saying, like when everybody starts out, it takes like a really special kind of talent to not make just complete trash music when you're starting out.
uh,
I
I feel
like
like it's always gonna be trash in the beginning.
oh
You just
definitely,
need grit,
definitely. Oh, I mean,
willpower to
yeah,
just fight through it because
yeah,
you got to knock
because
those doors down.
yeah, and I remember me starting out. Oh yeah, I if I ever go back and listen to my like first songs that I ever recorded, yeah, with
Classic.
oh my gosh, dude, with like the Apple like earbuds with the microphone
With the
right here,
microphone.
legit. That's like that's how it was, and yeah, I listened to it and I'm like, this will never see the light of day.
Oof.
This is staying in my files. The only person I think I've shown maybe a few people, but yeah, it's like you said, it's kind of like
Yeah,
that hustle and that grind that
yeah.
you're not going to be great right off the bat, so you have to
It's
kind of
also being like
keep going.
available, like
Definitely,
emotionally, because
yeah,
apparently everyone can tell when you're being fake. Because
definitely.
if
Oh
I
yeah,
popped out and was like, I got a 223, do do do, do do do, like everybody would be like,
right.
wee wee,
Yeah, they're like,
like,
what?
are you really about that
What are you
life?
talking
I'm
about?
not.
Same.
I am not.
No, same.
I keep constantly getting asked, yo, nice songs and everything. Who broke you? What a backhanded compliment.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Like,
It's a
who
crazy
broke
thing.
you?
Yeah. You're like, nice to meet you, by the way.
I'm
What's
like,
your name?
I'm like, no, it was the girl that I used to talk to that DM'd
Oh,
me
that's
that one.
crazy.
Happens to me a lot, actually,
Dang.
with like people I've talked to in the past.
Yeah.
She's just like, oh yeah, like who broke you? Because it wasn't me. I don't take credit for that.
That's crazy,
I'm
man.
like, they're not that sad.
Right. That was um something I noticed. Yeah, writing songs when it's because it's like it's almost, you know, songwriting in that way can kind of access a part of you that you don't normally put out there,
You
that
don't typically want to
yeah,
be.
what people don't normally see. Um Whenever I would write a song and I would post it, my mom would make me sit down with her and explain my song word for word because she'd be like, "Are you okay? Like, do you need like therapy or anything?" I'm like,
Oh
"I'm
Lord.
chilling.
Oh Lord. I
I'm
didn't show my
chilling." I'm
mom's
like
music
that.
until like only recently, like 3 or 4 months.
Yeah.
But she gets real technical too. She's like, you should have hit it this octave. You should hit like, you hear
Yeah.
that? You hear that, Ronnie?
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, all right, all right, all right.
Yeah, that's funny, man. No, um,
But no, you're right.
yeah, and so it's funny, the way it works because it's like, yeah, these people that know you the most is like you pop out with this new kind of side of you, and they're like,
They're like,
"What
are
is
you
that?
good?
Yeah, are you good, bro? Like, do you need help?"
I'm like, well, I'm being melodramatic. Like
Right.
that's what the point is.
Yeah.
It's like it's like a diary of sorts
Right. Well, and
where I
it's
just don't have to worry about, oh, is this true? Is this not? No, I feel like I'm dying.
right.
I feel like the world is
Yeah.
ending, you know?
Yeah.
I can just be a little girl on there.
Yeah.
I can just be
The
completely
worst day of my life.
yeah, I can just
Yeah.
be completely melodramatic and completely let everything out. And everyone's like, no, this is
Okay.
hard.
Just grubs, bro.
Yeah. And I can just do that and it just like comes out constructively
Definitely.
instead of, doing all the other stuff that's
Right.
bad.
Well, I mean, and it's like if you sang about, what you did every day,
Yeah.
and it's like it's not that interesting to listen to. You're like, woke up,
Unpopular opinion. Like
unpopular
like like
opinion.
older hip hop,
Yeah.
like old hip hop. Went to the hat store today
Yeah.
and I bought me a hat. You know what I'm
It
saying?
was 1795, and I don't know about that. Yeah, and it's like,
Yeah, it's like
and people will be like, "Man, rap's not what it used to be," and then play that. It's like, that's what you're saying.
that's it.
It's like,
That's it.
what? That's
That's it.
it?
It's like I got to give them credit because they built it to what it is now. Like you
Definitely,
can't
man.
have a weak foundation,
Yeah.
but don't let's go bar for bar.
Right. Yeah.
Like a school bus,
Yeah.
It's such a hard lyric.
Yeah. I remember I was listening to the radio one time, and it's like I don't know what station it is, but it's this like kind of old school, like classic, like 90s R&B hip hop. And there's
Mm.
a DJ on there, and he's talking about like, he was on an Instagram live one time. And so he was like, yeah, man, new rappers are garbage. They're trash. I would be like, dog, when was the last time that like you listened to a new rap song, Because it's like these people that say that look at like one or two people
Yeah,
as examples. They're like,
they hit like Lil Pump. Like they
yeah,
love hitting like Lil Pump or whatever. And
that,
I'm like,
yeah,
number one, he had a few hard songs. All right.
not
It was
gonna
a
lie.
different time for me. Number one, my brain was developing, and that's what I needed in my brain.
Yeah,
Gucci gang, Gucci gang, Gucci
yeah,
gang, Gucci gang,
yeah,
just in my brain. But like he had a little stint. It was new. Um, but like they never mentioned like X. They never mentioned Juice World. They never mentioned people who actually tried, like Lil Peep.
yeah,
They never mentioned these rappers. They're gonna mention the ones that literally said the same thing
yeah, right.
for a minute and 54
Uh
seconds.
huh.
I'm like, not fair.
Right. No, I mean, because there's you have those rappers, and then you have like a whole different, almost like genre of rappers. People who like your Kendrick Lamar's, your uh, I don't know, like Mac Miller's, your Earl Sweats, like those people. Like
You just can't. You just
it's
can't do that, because like Mac Miller, in his latter half of
yeah,
his years. Like his rap really connected. Like I
yeah,
think swimming was when I first got back onto him after like the Blue Ladder or the
Blue Slide Park,
Blue
yeah,
Slide Park. Because after that he went on this little thing. He was dating Ariana. He was on
uh
the top of the world. Like
yeah,
I was like, let's pause on
yeah,
that. But except the one with an apple, the apple on the desk,
uh,
that one was hard too.
that yeah, I do like that one,
Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, a lot of his projects were hard, but like I'm saying, swimming just had a different thing to it.
definitely,
So he was maturing a lot into his sound, and
yeah,
then unfortunately, what happened? But like, that's different rap
yeah, it is, yeah,
than 1900 Rugrat, where he's like, where he's like, big body, wide body, like a school bus. Like I'm like, that's hard.
yeah,
7 in the morning, you ever wake up to that?
uh,
Ooh, that's motivating.
yeah, right, right,
God, but like or Kodak, that's just different. It's just different regions.
yeah,
So
yeah.
Old heads are gonna be old heads though.
Old head's gonna be old
And
heads,
I'm
man.
I'm feeling my old head energy coming in. I feel it
Dude,
sometimes.
no,
I'm
sometimes,
like, what is this? What is
yeah.
this?
Well,
What,
who? What are they?
what do they know about this?
What are they saying
What
on
y'all know
there?
about this? What y'all know about this?
Yeah, I'm like, y'all
Start
don't.
throwing on 2017 Trippy Red.
No, literally, bro. It's like y'all don't know how good we had it back then. Play like the 2016 double XL cipher
Oh,
with
oh.
you
Yachty and
know,
everybody.
Uzi,
Denzel.
Savage. Oh my gosh, Denzel. I'll be dancing in the corner. I'm just like, what y'all know about this?
Y'all know about this.
What y'all know about
What
this?
y'all know?
And they're playing, yeah, the
I'm pretty
people,
sure.
yeah,
I'm trying
yeah,
to get the
bro.
voice down.
Yeah, dude.
Working on it.
So I've listened to quite a bit of your music, not only in preparation for this, but
Oh
also
no.
just in general. Um, I really like it, and it's not me just glazing because we're face to face. I promise, it's stuff I genuinely enjoy. Um, and two songs specifically, I know you kind of mentioned beforehand,
Mhm,
um, Necklace and Home.
mhm.
So Necklace is, I'm gonna be honest, I've listened. I couldn't tell you how many times I listened to it in the last like week.
I
I
appreciate you.
think um, it's just such a good feeling kind of song, and it's interesting because if you look at like the lyrics, the way
Not,
you write music is the way that I used to also like to write music, is because lyrically it's not a happy song.
not at all.
It's
No.
so sad. You
Not
look at the
really.
lyrics and you're like, "Oh my gosh." Like, is it, yeah, no, I'll turn into your mom. I'm like, "Dude, are you okay? Are you good, bro?" But then
Glad somebody caught that because
yeah.
everyone's like, yeah,
Hey.
and I'm like,
Yeah. Look at the words, man. And so, yeah, I love music that kind of invokes one, emotion and vibe, but is quite, about quite literally the opposite type of vibe. And I don't know. Yeah, Necklace, I just feel like was that kind of thing for me,
mm.
because it's like, yeah, it's like I'm listening to it, tapping my foot, bobbing my head. And that was what it was for the first listen or two. But then I was like, okay, I need to,
And you sit alone, right?
yeah, like I need to crack down, you know, write out what I think he's saying and stuff. And yeah, lyrically, it's a totally different song. If you take away the
Yeah.
instrumental and just look at the lyrics, it's like, whoa.
Mhm. Yeah, no, definitely. I listened to the beat. I remember, and I was thinking about an ex-girlfriend. And I remember, and what sucks is she like texted me. She's like, "That reminds me of a necklace I used to have," and I was like, "Ugh,
You're like,
ugh." Yeah, she gets it, but
yeah.
she used to have like an R right here.
Okay.
She and I was like, "I never been to." I was sitting on the toilet, and I was like, "I never been touched to be jealous.
Hey,
Get on this jealous now." Oh, I was like, "Oh, hold on,
hold on.
oh, let him cook."
Yeah.
And I wiped, and then I went and then I walked up, went into my closet and recorded it, and I was just like, "This is garbage." I was like, "This is hot garbage," right? That's just how it is.
Right.
And then you listen to it like 90 more times, and then
Mm.
you're like, maybe I'm feeling this,
Yeah.
maybe I'm not. I'm gonna
There's
sleep
something
on it. I'm
here.
gonna sleep
Yeah.
on it though. I'm gonna sleep on
Yeah.
it. Fell asleep, and I feel like that's what a lot of the writing process was. Is because I punch in,
Yeah.
so I might write a hook,
Okay.
with just the music out and the beat, and then a lot of the time I'll go, okay, let me get this on, because sometimes like the octave is wrong,
Yeah.
and I just can't sing in it.
Yeah.
Um, I mostly sing in minor chords. That's why it seems like a sadder kind of thing.
Yeah.
But when I sing, I'm like, all right, cool, that kind of works, that kind of works, because it usually changes completely when I'm recording.
Right.
Lay those down, and then I'm like, all right, what can be, and then I just punch in, just go, and then I
Yeah.
finally finish the song.
Right.
Whenever I feel like the idea is done,
Yeah.
That's why a lot of my songs, because I got ADHD, so like the songs, so the idea is typically a minute and 45 seconds
Okay.
after it's just done.
Because otherwise you'll lose interest in it. You're
I'll
like,
lose interest.
yeah,
I've tried to write like longer songs,
yeah,
and you can see there was a certain point where I was purposely trying to write like 2 minutes and 30 seconds, and it was genuinely like I was like I'm grasping for lost
yeah,
things now because the idea is kind of gone.
yeah.
That whole idea was, I remember specifically her being like, "Oh my god, look, this is for you." That's it. Like
Mm,
that's it.
right.
That's the idea.
Yeah.
That tiny memory from like 4 years ago or something, 2, 3 years ago. So like to extend on that memory and like,
Yeah.
nobody likes to touch those feelings.
Yeah.
So like that's kind of how it happened when it comes to it.
Okay.
That's why it seems like a sadder song because it is.
Yeah. Right.
Because obviously not here
Yeah.
anymore.
Right.
So there's a certain extent of like, yeah, but I wanted it to be an upbeat song though.
Yeah.
I wanted people to be like, because people were hitting me with like, Ronnie, you're only making sad songs. Bro, I cannot play this in the car with the homies. And I
Yeah.
was like, I want something that people can play in the car with the homies, but also when they're
Right.
alone. So
Something that might make them cry a little bit, you know.
something that make them think about something that they honestly dug very deep.
Yeah.
6 feet deep. Make
Yeah,
them
no.
uncover it.
I like that. I like that. Yeah, because it's I don't know. Yeah, like I said, it's when I would write music, it's always kind of what I would strive for was more of a chill sounding, kind of instrumental or something that's more upbeat. And I think naturally I just found that what I would write was, yeah, like I said earlier, kind of that side of me that not a lot of people saw.
Mhm.
Because not that I would ever force myself to, you know, be in one mood in front of people. I think
Yeah,
naturally I just always was
you just
kind of in a good mood.
you just don't want to be that guy. You
Exactly.
just don't want to be like, hi,
Yeah. Yeah.
like
Well, and
always
it
sad.
takes so much energy to like make yourself be sad, you
Like,
know?
you gotta appreciate the little things though,
Definitely.
because it was very hard for me to a certain point to like just be sad to be alive.
Yeah.
Sounds really bad,
Right.
but
Right. Right.
just appreciate that. Got a place to lay down.
Right.
I'm breathing.
Yeah.
I'm healthy enough. I'm walking around. Like, there's a lot of things you can just start very small and then just be
Definitely.
like, why was I ever tripping?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, gotta do that every morning.
Yeah, man.
So, I know what you mean. Like, you're never gonna like really let that side out of being like, oh,
Right.
because it's just like, why are you gonna let somebody else's day down?
Yeah.
Why are you gonna bring them down to your thing? And
Yeah.
just too much energy.
It is. Yeah, and it's funny because I feel like for me, yeah, I find it takes more energy to keep myself consistently in a bad mood than it does to just kind of let stuff go and be like, all
Just
right,
let it go.
just let it go.
Typically, that's when I sit um, on on my porch, on my balcony, and just stare at the moon.
Mm-hmm.
Listen to Frank Ocean. Just stare at the moon.
Yeah.
That's typically when I let things go.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm
You're
like,
like, moon.
I gather it all up, pop a beer open, and I'm just like, white Ferrari,
Yeah.
have a good time.
Look what for.
And then like somebody will like one of my roommates will knock on the door. She'd be like, "Yo, you good?" I'm like, "If you don't, I was in the middle of letting go."
Yeah.
Like, it's like I do allow myself that time though,
Right.
because if I skip that,
Yeah.
like I genuinely get irritated. I
Yeah.
genuinely start. So I just know myself now. When you knew me in high school,
I
like I had no. Oh my god, I hated that guy. Poor kid. He just had no idea how to deal with things.
listen. High school was it. No, literally, I was like, it's been 8 years. like 8 years since we've had a class because we graduated 2019.
Okay. Oh my God, don't
So that was
scare me
6 years
like
ago.
that.
And then 2 years before, so sophomore year, that was 8 years ago, which is insane, you know?
Yeah, because we always kind of stayed in touch one way or another. There was
Yeah,
always just like one time where I would just like would randomly run into you,
right.
and it'd just be like,
Yeah. What's up?
yeah, just
I
like
hope you're doing good.
what's good?
Run into you when I run into you.
Yeah. So it's never one of those things that are just like super out of the ordinary.
Right. Yeah.
It always just seems like a pause on conversations, and then we'll just
Definitely.
catch up later.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. It's always been that kind of thing. And which is why I think that naturally I think we just kind of got along in high school, because we're both, I think, very easygoing people. And when two people like that meet, and
Hard to piss them off.
it is, no, it's really hard to
It's
piss each
really
other off.
hard.
And yeah, and so um yeah, no, I like that. I like that. So to kind of go back to
The
songwriting,
song.
um your song Home.
Mm.
So that one sounds sad,
Yeah, that
and
one
that
just
one is sad.
that one.
That's just sad across the board. It's not even like it sounds like it's happy, but it's actually sad.
No,
It's
yeah,
just sad.
yeah.
Um, and so you talk about like New York to Las Vegas. Was that something like? Did you actually travel, or is
I went to Virginia to
okay?
Las Vegas.
Because you're from Virginia,
I'm
right?
from
Okay,
Virginia, born and raised.
yeah,
So I actually went from Virginia to that. But I remember I was traveling for work for about like 2.5, 3 years.
okay,
And I just pulled those feelings of
gotcha.
me just like I would travel about 6 months out of the year to random cities in America
Hmm.
and knock on doors
Mm,
and sell security.
okay,
So it just always felt like I was like living out of a suitcase, never getting really attached to any place other than here. And even then, when I was here, I just, like I said in the song, I just left all my problems at the door. I was like,
yeah,
I gotta go work,
right, right, right.
So it was just like that's where those feelings kind of came from.
Okay,
And then also one of my buddies actually moved from New York to Las Vegas. So I
okay,
was like, I didn't do it specifically.
right,
He did it.
yeah,
I moved. I don't know, like he moved up there. I was down here, and I moved over.
okay,
But so that's kind of where those like feelings came from of
gotcha.
just me like always feeling detached from my own actual problems.
Okay. So less specifically from the New York airport to the Las Vegas just more
More like JFK
J yeah.
to to the Las Vegas airport.
Yeah, so okay, cool. Yeah, because you talking about like you living out of a suitcase and leaving all your problems at the front door. My mind also goes to it, you're living out of this suitcase. The suitcase is like your life, right?
Yeah.
So you're bringing the suitcase is your life, as you're practically just leaving it at the front door.
Yeah,
Like
because you're not gonna like the problems don't fit in the suitcase.
right,
You need clothes, you need
yeah,
conditioner, you need let's be
other
practical here.
stuff, yeah,
You're just gonna be like, all right, baby, we'll talk about this when we get back.
yeah,
Just,
yeah,
um, that didn't help,
right,
but it is what it is.
yeah,
I had to do what I had to do, but
yeah,
like it's just like that's kind of where I pulled from.
yeah,
I have no idea. Also, I think at the time I was just feeling like I should probably go home.
yeah,
I
yeah,
was
yeah,
like, sometimes you just don't feel at home, even if you are.
yeah,
Just feel detached.
definitely.
So
Well, and it's moving around like that often, you could I could see how someone might lose sense of kind of what home is, like where
mm,
is home, and so then yeah, you just kind of are not lost, but just kind of wandering around, yeah, with this suitcase and
yeah, I would say you're just wandering around trying to find something that you really don't want to find because
right,
once you do get there, whoop, bunch of problems
yeah,
you have to deal with.
yeah,
You'd
right,
rather just keep running away.
okay, yeah,
Big issue I'm working on.
no,
You know what
that's
I mean? Like it's just a human reaction to
definitely,
do. It's like that's what a lot of people end up doing
yeah,
anyways. That's why there is all these issues with drug abuse and alcoholism and things like that, because it's a lot easier to cover it up, run away from it.
Definitely.
Whether you overwork, whether you do anything,
Yeah.
a lot of the time people are just running from their issues,
Yeah.
and I do the same.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I think. Yeah. You know, everybody's got their their
everyone's got their
vice. Everyone's
stuff.
everyone's got their things to deal with, and it is unfortunate that it happens so often. And yeah,
Hmm.
it's so much easier to just you know like in the song you're saying, like, I'm just set this aside,
Yeah,
I'll deal with it later, I got stuff to do.
yeah.
When you do that over and over again,
You pretty much stack it up
yeah,
like it's
and
National Geographic or something.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Just like
right,
this problem was from '08. You never dealt with that one, so
yeah,
you should probably read this one
yeah,
first.
yeah.
You know?
Or you got like a mailbox full of letters where it's
Yeah,
like, oh, this
and
is
it's
from
like,
2 years ago. What is
yeah,
it? Yeah, they're just kind of flipping through it.
and
It's
you're
like,
just flipping through, and you're just
yeah,
being like, oh, it's better to ignore it. But
yeah,
like, I don't know. We're also never taught. Like, I don't know if you remember a class in high school being like, how to deal with negative things, how
no,
to deal with stuff like that. Like,
no,
or they just kind of rely on parents and things like that to
yeah,
do that. And that's pretty impossible to do because typically it's their first time in this situation too.
yep, yeah,
First time being a parent, first time doing that, so they're dealing with their stuff too. It's hard. You step back and look at it, you're like, you really do have to figure it out on your own.
yeah,
So I feel like that's kind of where that song came from. Me just kind of being irritated with that, mostly myself.
right,
That's why I'm just like, I'm not faded. No, I left all my problems right there at the front door.
yeah,
you know,
yeah,
because it's just like not even faded when I'm saying this. Not even feeling any kind of way. It's just like, ugh. Sometimes you just have to put it down.
definitely. Well,
It
no, yeah,
is what it is.
it is what it is. We live and we learn, and we do what we can. But yeah, no, I've this past week or so, I've just filtered through your songs. I'll just go on Spotify and I'll just hit like shuffle on your profile.
Oof.
And it's a journey. I'll be honest with you. Sometimes I'm like, okay, I could tell this is from 2 years ago, or I could tell this was from like a couple months ago because
Yeah.
there is a difference in
There's
sound, and
you can hear it
definitely,
distinctly. Like it is distinct of where when I found something that worked and when I
yeah,
found something that didn't.
right. Well, and that's just part of the whole process is finding
That's why I
what
keep it
works
up.
for you. Yeah.
Because honestly, I'm like,
No,
I'm trying to have people just listen to
no,
like
I
how garbage my stuff
I
was before.
respect that. I respect that because it shows growth, but it also shows range.
Yeah.
Because it's like, okay, even if this sound wasn't distinctly for you
Hmm.
or what you've found that works for you.
I did I you
Yeah,
like good morning, good evening type thing
yeah, right,
where
right,
I'm just like I'm kind of using the hip hop beats and stuff,
yeah,
and I realized I really couldn't be unique on those.
yeah, right,
I would just sound like the Kid Leroy,
yeah,
but like a version of it.
yeah,
And it's just like there's I don't know, I just matched well better with the indie beats
right,
and the that more thing. I grew up with like 70s bands,
uh-huh,
with my dad. So it's like it's a lot easier for me to like do that.
definitely.
Also harder for me to get comfortable with being like life sucks on a mic,
Yeah.
and like singing.
Hmm.
It was like such a pain in the ass because you always think somebody's watching, but literally nobody is.
Yeah. No, and the second you like think someone's in the room with you, you're like, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
I'm embarrassed.
Yeah, and then I got to a point where I just like leave my door open and just
Yeah.
record.
Yep.
Then my last roommate was just like, hey, yo, like I'm recording a video. Can you like close the door? I'm like,
Just
100% because I am yelling at this mic right now.
yeah.
Like so, but it's also just getting comfortable with thinking that everybody's watching.
Yeah.
Literally nobody's watching.
Hmm.
Everybody's way too focused on themselves.
Right.
We're all selfish, and
Well,
that's
yeah,
a good thing.
definitely.
But like nobody cares,
Hmm.
which is great. Then you can just do anything.
Yeah.
It's freeing. Like once I started realizing that nobody cares, I'm like,
Uh-huh.
oh, I'm gonna talk about everything.
Yeah, yeah.
I was like,
No, yeah, I mean,
you can almost tell when I made that decision with my music
yeah,
when I started being like, you.
yeah. That's yeah, I can relate to that. That's kind of where, I went from, like my first thing that I tried to do was like YouTube. Well, I was like 13, I had a YouTube channel. Who didn't have a YouTube channel at 13? But like try to do YouTube videos, and I was like, well, these are getting 20 views, and so I was like, well, I don't want to do
It's not
that.
bad.
And so then I did Instagram skits and stuff, and then
Those were pretty good.
thank you, I appreciate it. There are a couple that I'm like, dude, this is so funny.
Like it's so funny, and even if they like weren't like the joke you were trying to make didn't hit, it was just funny in the context of how you were trying to make it.
Yeah, yeah,
That was funny. I was like,
right,
the whole thing is funny either way.
right.
Because you're just like, I'm like, wait, why did he put the camera like that? Wait, what's going on? Oh my god.
No, and first of all, I appreciate it, but yeah, I think for me, yeah, the type of content that I make that I've made over the years is kind of, yeah, that my process of being like, okay, I really care what people think of me. I'm starting to care less what people think of me. And now it's just like
Screw
I'm
it.
just in my own lane.
Yeah,
I'm just
just
doing whatever I want to do. I have
I can tell you when you're on the camera with like the short videos you've been making
yeah,
on
yeah.
Instagram. I see that. Because I'm like he's a lot more comfortable. He's a lot more just
Hmm.
just rolling it off, really putting your personality in the camera. Because beforehand it was slightly blocked by something, and it was
Yeah,
that, I
right,
think.
right. Well, and I think that a lot of that just comes with getting older too.
Yeah,
As a in high school, I'm still,
like
you know,
thinking that.
I'm walking through the hallway thinking everyone is looking at me like that dude's outfit is so dumb. Why did he wear that to school?
Yeah,
Like
and typically they're like, my outfit is
no,
so
no,
dumb.
literally they're looking at me thinking that guy thinks my outfit is so dumb, and I'm like, dog, I'm just worried about my vocab test, next period. I don't know how I'm gonna pass that, but yeah, it's that kind of process that I think once you unlock that kind of potential of just not caring, yeah, then that's when things start to kind of take shape and take form.
There's this one book called Winning.
Uh,
It's by uh, Jordan's Kobe's coach
okay,
or his personal trainer.
yeah,
They're both, and he calls like that muscle
mm,
is the don't give a muscle,
yeah,
where he's just like, you better exercise that if you want to do anything great.
yeah,
I'd recommend it highly because it's like I started the year off with like the Matthew McConaughey
mm,
um, book because number one, he's reading it and it's
yeah,
super inspirational where he
right,
went, how he had like his actual goals written down. Be a father,
hmm,
get an Academy Award, all these things, get an Oscar, and like he literally did all those things.
yeah,
And it's the same thing where he's like, yo, you need to stretch that
right,
because people thought Kobe was insane. People thought Michael Jordan was ridiculous because, oh yeah, why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? It's like, because you have to be different.
hmm,
And yeah, sure, I'm not getting millions of views right now,
right,
but you just got to put in the work.
definitely,
You just got to be consistent.
yeah,
I don't even think it's all about like what you're putting out. You just
uh,
got to be consistent.
yeah,
Look at Logan Paul,
uh,
like consistent. Dude's consistent. Whatever
yeah,
you have to say about him, consistent.
yeah,
Mr. Beast, consistent.
yeah,
Like he started out with nothing and then just literally went like, oh, let's just do random stuff like
hmm,
cut a table with a plastic knife
yeah,
and
yeah,
like the sheer will is like amazing. Like I'm like, dude, like honestly, hats off. Like
yeah, no, yeah,
so it's like and I think that's about literally anything. So
definitely.
it's fun. I'll say that it's fun.
It is fun. Yeah, it's an interesting thing to to find that in yourself too, you know, that willpower to be like, oh, I am capable of that, yeah.
Yeah.
Or
'Cause typically you don't want to do it.
right,
I didn't want to wake up this morning.
neither did I.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I'd rather be sleeping like
100%.
all day.
Yeah,
How to work, how to do this, how to do that, how to do this. You
yeah,
know, it is what it is. You know, what are you gonna do? Like
yeah.
lay back down, not do what you want to do. You know,
Right,
like
yeah.
okay. What was that one quote? It was like, consider the consider the uh consider the actions of or consider the consequence of inaction.
Mm,
And now I can't get the quote out of my head.
yeah, I like that.
I can't get it out of my head. It super sucks. It's like whenever I'm like, I'm gonna sleep in, I'm gonna like, why am I gonna post a video? Why am I going to record a video? It's extra.
Yeah,
I'm not getting paid off of it. Like if I am getting paid, it's like a couple bucks.
right.
Like it's like, well, consider the consequence.
Mm.
Ugh. Okay, I'm going.
Yeah,
Okay, I'm
yeah,
going.
right.
It's like okay, I'm going. I'm
Yeah,
going. So it's a fun time. It's a fun time building. So I see you. I see you.
definitely.
It's fun.
It is fun. Well, I appreciate you coming. I appreciate you reaching out. This has
Of
been
course.
probably the most interesting thing that has happened to me in the last, I think. No, I'm not gonna say that because I got married.
Yeah, you got me. You
Uh,
got married.
Let me go back. I'm gonna reverse.
Yeah, let's
I'll
just
say in the last few weeks.
a few weeks. There you go.
Good
Good man. Good man. Good man. Have it on recording too. Got it on
Shit,
recording.
I'm gonna get in trouble for that one probably.
I'm gonna clip that one. I'm gonna.
That's not making it in the final edit. But no, I mean, again, I was just so surprised when I saw your message, and again, I appreciate you reaching out because
Yeah, of course.
it gives me an opportunity to, you know, continue to do what I want to do,
Hmm.
while also giving you space and time to, you know,
Yeah.
kind of further discuss
Mutual beneficial.
mutual. Hey, man,
You know, I was like,
you love it.
you better pump this content out. I swear to God, y'all finna see this. Pause. I don't know why that sounded very weird.
It sounded very like you're gonna see this. It's like
So
whoa,
I found
whoa,
it's like you're gonna see what?
whoa. Yeah,
Boom, boom, boom.
that's crazy.
Oh God, we're in a bedroom right now. All right. Yeah, but of course,
Man.
of course, anytime. I'll definitely do it again.
Definitely.
Definitely do it again.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear whatever you're gonna come out with soon, and keep your eyes out because the Sile VVS, he's on the rise, and he's doing it, and he's doing it good. So
Same thing with Brusky over here. You better watch. Joe Rogan, who?
that's what I'm saying, bro.
Hello?
Huh?
Couldn't even pick up.
Yeah,
Too busy.
too busy being rich,
Playing around.
Yeah. Go be rich somewhere else, Joe. All right, man.
Yeah, when I hear music, got to talk about it. Got me a collection of movies that I can watch a lot of. If that's not your suit, at least try it on for a fit. You gotta tune into this Nick's Mix and Flicks.